Welcome to the Great Awakening Show. Today's subject is chemtrails, fact or fiction. What is a chemtrail and what is a contrail and what's the difference? A contrail is a condensation trail that follows an airplane. Sometimes you see those clouds forming behind airplanes when you look up into the sky. And usually, because it's made up of water, because it's condensation trails, it disappears in a couple of seconds, 30 seconds, maybe even a minute, right after it. It follows it. A chemtrail is a trail that follows an airplane but stays there all day and is full of chemicals. Alright? Here's the fact on the chemtrails. If you look up in Google patents and type in the patent number 5003186, you'll come up across a patent titled Stratospheric Wellsback Seeding for Reduction of Global Warming. Alright, it filed 1990 and issued in 1991. In the patent, the method of claim wherein said materials comprises of one or more oxides of metals. The method claim 1 wherein said materials comprises of aluminum oxide. It also lists many others metals. But recently I came across article in the Seattle Times, hidden in it, entitled Moscow to Sow Snow Control Seeds. Yes, they control snow, as they say in Moscow. Limiting cost of cleanup. Mayor joins scientists who already seed clouds to clear skies for holiday. So I'm going to read you parts of this article that I found, which is very interesting. In the snow-hushed woods on Moscow's northern edge, scientists are decades deep into the research on bending the weather to their will. Yes. They've been at this since Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin paused long enough in the throes of World War II to found an observatory dedicated to tampering with climatic inconveniencies. Since then, they've melted away fog, dissipated the radioactive fallout from Chernobyl, called down rains fierce enough to drown unborn locusts, threatening the distant northeastern grasslands. And now they're poised to battle the most inevitable and emblematic force of Russian winter, the snow. Moscow's government, led by long-reigning Mayor Yuri Lukov, has indicated that clearing the capital streets of snow is too expensive. Instead, the city is weighing in on a plan to seed clouds with liquid nitrogen or dry ice to keep heavy snow from falling inside its limits. So they seed the clouds with liquid nitrogen. This is how they do it. Alright. Alex Yaplakov, who sits in the mayor's ecological council and has concerns about the proposal. He says, "I'm very surprised because the mayor never even asked us." Yes, we have the American patent here on saying how they do chemtrails. And we have a guy saying the mayor never even asked us. And do they ask you? No, they don't. They feel that they're above the people. And even in this article it says that. I'll get to it later. In it they admit they already seed clouds for political effect, clearing skies over Moscow twice a year to ensure sun-drenched celebrations of patriotic holidays. In Russia, nobody rains on the parade because the Russian government doesn't allow it. All it takes, he said, is sacks of cement, 500 grade to be precise. Drop the powder into the clouds and they vanish. Soviet scientists learned how to disperse clouds by accident 40 years ago. So they're only now admitting it, but they had known this for about 40 years, or so they say. So a bunch of inventions, a bunch of things that they tell us are usually 30 to 40 years behind. On average, you want to keep that number in your head. So when they do admit it, they probably invented it 20 to 30 years or more ago. They had flown overhead and dropped powdered blue paint into the clouds to tag them for observation. Instead, the powder melted the clouds away. And here's where it's critical. There is something almost godlike about interfering with the weather. These people think they're your gods. They do not ask you whether or not it's okay to seed the clouds or spray chemicals. Here you heard they drop sacks of cement on you, 500 grade. And these are what you're breathing in. Imagine what it's doing to your lungs. I've come across another news article online. You could YouTube it, Chemtrails News LA USA News segment on chemtrails.
Strange substance found by a southwest Arkansas man be part of a government test? Well, that's the question at the heart of a phenomenon called chemtrails, now getting widespread attention. Well, tonight, Baytown News 12 investigation reporter Jeff Farrell shows us the results of testing we had done about what's in our skies.
It seemed like some mornings it was just crisscrossing the whole sky, and it was just like a giant checkerboard.
Bill Nichols snapped several photos of the strange clouds from his home in Stamps, Arkansas. They begin as normal contrails from a jet engine, but do not fade away like a normal contrail.
Does not fade away.
Soon after, he saw particles
like a normal contrail.
Yeah, because we'd see it drop to the ground in a haze.
Nichols then noticed the material collecting on the ground.
He collected it on the ground
and stuff that I collected
in the water.
I had it set out in my backyard.
This is what people are drinking and not
KSLA News 12 had the sample tested at a lab. The results? A high level of barium.
High level of barium.
6.8 parts per million. More than 3 times the toxic level set by the EPA.
3 times the toxic level.
With these lab results about the high levels of barium found in our sample, we decided to contact the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality. They told us that yes, these levels are very unusual, but at the same time they added the caveat that proving the source is a whole other matter.
Barium is a hallmark.
We already got the source
testing,
and the patents,
which even attracted attention from a Los Angeles TV station. There's already no shortage of unclassified weather modification programs by the government. But those who fear chemtrails could be secret biological or chemical testing on the public point to the 1977 Senate hearings in particular, which confirmed 239 populated areas had been contaminated with biological agents between 1949 and 1969. Later, the 1994 Rockefeller Report concluded hundreds of thousands of military personnel were also subjected to secret biological experiments over the last 60 years. But could secret testing be underway yet again?
I'd rather it be something inert and benign, something that's, not causing any damage, but I'd like to know what it is.
KSLA News 12 discovered chemtrails are even mentioned by name in the initial draft of House Bill 2977 back in 2001. Under the Space Preservation Act. But the military denies any such program exists.
Of course they deny it, but
KSLA News 12 reporting.
We got the proof right here.
And it turns out until 9 years ago, the government had the right under U.S. law to conduct secret testing on the American public under specific conditions. Only a public outcry repealed part of that law, with some exceptions.
With some exceptions.
Mentioned high levels of barium linked to those alleged chemtrails.
This is what barium does
what effects barium has on the body. We spoke with Mark Ryan, the director of the Poison Control Center. Ryan tells KSLA News 12 that short-term exposure can lead to anything from stomach to chest pains. Long-term exposure causes blood pressure problems. Ryan addressed concerns by chemtrail researchers that barium could be meant to wear down a person's immune system.
Wears down your immune system.
That causes
a quick Google search on barium, you can find the effects.